Hey team, today I want to explore how you could learn illustration for as close to free as possible. And to be honest, while I think you can learn a hell of a lot about it for free, you can't really become a professional illustrator without spending some money. Because you need equipment and software to be able to do the job, and that ain't free. But those expenses are an investment in your future career, so worth saving up for. Let's see how low we can go. I'll cover the essentials and then some other options too. I'm James, and I'm not an illustrator. I'm an agent working with lots of great professionals, and this channel is for new artists working on becoming a great professional. So is my book, The Illustrator's Guide. I wanted to be an illustrator 15 years ago, and I studied for it at university, which was expensive. Could I have learned everything I learned about illustration at university without going to university? Probably yes. Would I have? Almost definitely not. The advantage of a formal education in illustration is that there's a plan and a structure and milestones. I wasn't a particularly self-motivated learner back then, so I needed that, and I'm fortunate that I had that option available to me. But if you can't or don't want to go that route, you can learn everything you need to know for a fraction of the cost if you know where to look. There is one cost that is high, but it's not money, it's time. It will take a long time, and how long it takes for someone to get good enough to be a professional will vary from person to person depending on their circumstances, priorities, and dedication. So here's step one. Learn to draw. Get really good at drawing. You could take some classes, but really this is more about practice. All you need is paper and some pencils, and maybe some YouTube videos. This is the foundational skill. Draw people, draw buildings, draw typography, draw your own hands, draw people on the bus, draw yourself in the mirror every day for a year. Draw all kinds of things until you can draw well. This isn't going to be quick, but if you don't enjoy this part of the process, then illustration might not be for you. If you start here and can't get past this stage, don't be an illustrator. Step 2, equipment. If you want to be a professional illustrator, you need professional equipment, software, and supplies. This is going to be your biggest cost, and there's also a learning curve that comes along with it. Whatever software you choose, you've got to learn how to use it, which takes time, practice, and dedication. But you don't need the latest brand new computer. Secondhand is fine, it gets the job done. You don't need a graphics tablet, you don't need an expensive camera or whatever else. Those things can come later. And they will no doubt speed things up for you when you've already learned your skill, but a learner driver doesn't need a Ferrari. They can learn plenty about driving from a Volkswagen Polo. You might be able to learn a little bit quicker on newer equipment, but the time it takes to save up for it will take longer, which means you have to wait longer to start practicing. And the more money you save now, the easier it will be to support yourself when you're trying to turn that skill into a career. The extra £500 you spend on a new computer could pay for your rent for an extra month. That's an extra month you can spend practicing without running out of money. Old, slow, second-hand equipment in the hands of someone who's dedicated and motivated is far better than the latest expensive kit in the hands of someone who's not putting in the effort. Trust me, I know. I spent more money than I needed to on awesome tech, and it didn't make me a better illustrator. My desk setup looked pretty cool, but I wasn't churning out enough work to get good at anything. So when I wasn't getting any work, after a while, I had to start selling all that stuff just to pay for life. A computer or an iPad is a big expense, there's no way around it. But if you look on eBay or somewhere similar, you can get second-hand kit and you can keep costs as low as possible. When you start working professionally and start making a bit of money, upgrade as much as you want. Until then, don't sink too much money into it. Master the equipment you have available to you. Not being an artist myself, I can't confidently recommend products like drawing tablets, but I've linked a great video below that runs through a lot of options. Step 3, copy. Copy all your favorite illustrators. Copy the way they draw, the compositions they make, and the colors they use. Don't just copy one illustrator, copy lots of them. Try and replicate loads of different styles, and don't get too attached to any one of them. Just find an image you like, deconstruct how you think it was made, and make your own version. And if you want to know how to do that, you can watch this video. This is a large part of how people learn. It's how children learn to do everything, pretty much. They watch someone else do it, then they try it themselves. This work isn't for sharing. It's not your work if you've copied it. It's purely for your own private, personal illustration education. If you can learn how these professionals think and put their work together, you'll naturally absorb the bits of information that you find most useful and interesting and forget the rest. You'll start combining what skills you learn from one artist with the technique of another. This is how you begin to develop your own unique style. But this only works if you learn from a wide range of sources. If you only learn from one or two, your work will just be a poor imitation of theirs. Step 4. YouTube, books, and podcasts. If you're watching this, that means you're seeking out educational content to level up your skills, so I don't need to get into the benefits of YouTube too much here, but it's free, and there is enough illustration and design related content and tutorials on YouTube to keep you busy for a lifetime. You can learn everything you need to know about every different kind of illustration skill imaginable, and all the other skills you might need to be a professional illustrator too. I'll put links down below to some great illustration related channels. I won't put any specific skill tutorials there because they're so easy to find, it's unnecessary. You want to learn Adobe Illustrator? Type in Adobe Illustrator tutorial and you'll find literally thousands of videos. They're not all good, but the cream rises to the top. The good videos have lots of likes and views, and the good channels have lots of subscribers, so it's easy to sort out the good stuff. If you're liking this video so far, I'd be very happy if you subscribed or shared it with someone else who might find it useful. Another great free resource for learning career skills is podcasts. I've learned more from podcasts than anything else, hands down. I don't even understand people who don't listen to podcasts at this point. The best creatives and thought leaders in the world put out incredible content week on week on all kinds of subjects, and it's free to listen to. Here are a few of my favorites. Books. Books are cheap, and you can learn whatever you want from them. They're not the best way to learn software, for example, but anything you want to know, and plenty of things you don't know that you want to know, is in a book somewhere. Developing a reading habit or listening to audiobooks is just a good life tip in general. Here are a few of my favorites for creatives. I'll put links in the description. Here's an optional step: paid online learning platforms. There's a lot to sort through on YouTube, and some of the best creators of educational content understandably want to be paid for their effort. So they may produce specific courses or masterclasses on subjects, skills, or software that you'll need to pay for. This is optional because you can probably find most of the content for free elsewhere, but the advantage of specially made courses and classes is that the creator is giving you some structure and logical steps to work through. Domestika is full of great illustration classes from a wide range of teachers. You can get a membership for about $80, or you can get individual classes. Skillshare is one that I use a lot, and there's much more on there than just creative subjects too. I've watched a lot of productivity classes, for example. You can get a month's free trial with my link in the description. It's $168 per year, which is less than 50 cents per day. That is a very good bargain for the knowledge you can get in return. Udemy.com is less geared towards creative subjects, but for other useful skills, spreadsheets, presentations, business skills, it's great. I've used it a lot. You buy specific classes on there, no monthly membership I don't think. They range from about £10 to £200, but they have flash sales all the time, so if you see something you like, just wait a couple of weeks and see if the price drops. Step 5. Make a professional portfolio of work. Once you've taken the time to practice your techniques and you've built up your skills and you're developing your own style, you'll want to create a portfolio of work. What I mean here is building up a selection of images. We'll get onto displaying them in step 7. A professional portfolio isn't just a collection of images you've made that you think look nice. It's a collection of images specifically made to attract paying clients. Clients want illustrations they can use for their brands or products, and they use them for specific purposes. You can check out my video, What Do Your Illustrations Do, up here for more on that, but at a very basic level, for the next couple of weeks as you go about your daily activities, just look around and make note of all the illustrations you see in magazines, books, supermarkets, outdoor ads, websites, apps, packaging, birthday cards, whatever, and see how they use illustration and think about why they use it in that way. For example, adverts tend to be big and bold to catch people's attention. Magazine illustrations are used to explain ideas. Book illustrations are used to tell a story. Illustrations you see in a supermarket make food look delicious. Greetings cards illustrations make people laugh or feel other emotions. They're all doing a job, so take some notes, build up a list of all the different jobs these illustrations are doing, and make an illustration that does each one of those jobs. Go to an illustration agency website and look at their search categories. This list will tell you what their clients are searching for most frequently, and you can use this as a kind of checklist of subjects you could add to your portfolio. They won't all be of interest to you, but pick a few and just get started. Then you'll be able to build up a list of commercially appealing subjects for a range of commercial clients. Step 6. Get feedback. In the process of making your first portfolio, get in touch with other illustrators to see if they'll give you some feedback. You don't need to contact the most famous or successful artists to get some useful input. Cast a wide net, email a lot of people and see if they'll be willing to give you a few notes on one particular illustration. If you ask them to review your whole portfolio, that could be a bit overwhelming and time consuming, but for one image, it's not such a big request. Plus, they've all been through this stage, so hopefully they'll be happy to help. If you do want feedback on the whole portfolio, you could ask some very specific questions about it. Which images do you think are the strongest in this selection? Or do you think I should remove any? Or what do you think I need to practice more? Keep it short and make it as simple as possible for them to help you, and be respectful of their time. Not everyone will reply, and that's okay. There's plenty of people you can email for advice. Getting feedback at this stage will make your work better. I have a whole video on the importance of feedback, but basically it's worth it, so try it. Step 7. Get a website. Now you need somewhere to put the work. You do need a website. You might be able to get away with a free portfolio on Behance for a while, but I think it's worth investing a little bit more to get something professional. Squarespace is a decent option, which is about £20 a month. It doesn't have to be expensive and it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to show the work and let people know how they can contact you at this stage. You can worry about upgrading it once you're making some money. So, we've got to a point here where you have a portfolio of work and somewhere to display it. You've learned and practiced some skills, you've got some feedback, and you have everything you need to begin to get work as an illustrator from real clients. To get to this stage will take a long time. A degree takes 3 or 4 years, and even then you're not necessarily ready to be a professional. But if you're motivated to learn and practice, and you have the time to invest, you could get to this point a lot quicker. It really depends on how much time you can dedicate to it. Most of this time is self-motivated, rigorous practice. If you want to get 20 great images in your professional portfolio, you might have to produce 200 practice illustrations, not to mention all the daily drawing and tutorial watching and experimenting. It's not easy or quick to get to this stage, but it can be cheap. The next stage is getting your work in front of clients. I have videos specifically about that, but luckily internet research and email is cheap too. Don't make the same mistakes I did and spend all your money on things you don't need. Wait until you're earning money from illustration, then you'll know upgrading your equipment is a worthwhile investment. See you next time.